ready to head off the trails? I'm the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, and I'm ready to take you on a mysterious journey right now. We welcome you to Off the Trails right here on Spaced Out Radio's YouTube channel. If you guys haven't hit subscribe yet, please do, because we would love to have you. Shout out to Bumblefoot for that amazing intro music. We really do appreciate it. All right. Follow us, please, on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. You can find me at thecryptidhuntress.com. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress. Also, please go support my shop, War Woman Goods. You can find that on Etsy and on my website. I would really appreciate the love, y'all. And thank you to everybody who supports me. Y'all are awesome. I have a fantastic guest here tonight. It's Spaced Out Radio. I have Tom Springer here. Don't forget, right after this show, After Hours has an amazing show set up for you guys tonight. All right, so let's get to our guest. Tom Springer is the host of Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book. He originally started the live stream as a place for individuals who believe they have paranormal gifts and abilities to come to so they can learn more and meet others who are just also starting out and who can help guide them further in their journey. Tom is an eclectic mix of Indigenous persons and Nordic descent, making his background vast in legends and lore. He first learned of his own paranormal abilities at the age of 49. It's kind of recent. While out on his first paranormal investigation with friends. From here, his abilities have manifested into many different areas, such as being able to interact with all elementals, talking with individuals from other dimensions, and healing others through touch and energy bursting. He sees auras and flashes of future events. He's also one of the nicest and most genuine people I've met in a while. So everybody, please help me welcome to Spaced Out Radio, Mr. Tom Springer.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Hey, Tom. Thank you so much for being here tonight. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Well, I got to go on your show not too long ago.
Right? Yeah.
And we had some interesting conversations, and I felt like we needed a part 2, honestly.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you actually have a really cool YouTube channel. Okay. And in a live stream show. Everybody, please go subscribe to Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book on YouTube. I'm going to I'll pull it up right now. We'll pull it up later too.
Okay.
Because you have some amazing guests and some amazing topics, and it is really stuff that we never learn from school books. And Tom, it's so important to hear about this. Now, tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into wanting to share your knowledge with people.
Okay. Well, first, hello, everyone. And Jessica, thanks for having me.
Of course.
My background is kind of unique. I'm prior military. I still work for the government now, but I'm prior military. And I did stuff that not many people did. I actually was an offensive sniper. So, but while we're out in the field, I would get senses or just feelings that, and we were a team of, we were known as the Ugly 13 or the Gargoyle Squad. That's what people knew us as. And we would hunker down. I would stop us, and we'd hunker down, and everyone's like, "Why are you stopping us?" And after a while, they learned not to ask, because it seemed like whenever I got that feeling, I stopped us, and like a patrol would come by or something else. It's almost like I had a sixth sense about what was going to happen. So that's how it really started. But at that point, I really didn't know I had anything. And the way it developed is about 1.5 years ago, I was asked to go on a paranormal investigation with a couple of friends. And I wasn't even into that yet at all. I just said, cool, I'm going to go with these guys. We're going to go hang out. And we went. And as I'm sitting there, I see a lady walk by me in an old style white dress and everything else. And she starts talking to me. And the team had 2 other mediums. And I started talking back. And they're like, who are you talking to? And I go, I'm talking to that lady right there. And she's standing right there. Dressed like this, looks like this, sounds like this. They're like, how can you see her? We can see her, but why are you seeing her? And I'm like, I don't know. Well, they couldn't see her the way I did. I see him just as I see you on the screen here. They can only get the images in their head, so they couldn't physically see her like I could. So that's when we learned that I actually had abilities. And from there, they just continued to kind of grow. We learned that I'm a medium, I'm a psychic. As you said, I can see auras. And there's a couple other different things I can do that have been unique to the paranormal world, which a lot of people can't do. So we're trying to figure out why I can't. And we're thinking it's tied to my past lives, to where I've probably been doing this for many, many, many different past lives. And they're just now waking up in me and opening up.
Yeah. So. I think a lot of people actually are just finally waking up to their enhanced human capabilities.
Right.
And to, our past life memories even. I mean, I know I've been getting glimpses of my past lives lately.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I think that's why we're here right now, actually. I don't know. I've got an inkling that may be why.
Yeah.
But you just started really opening up when you turned when you were 49 years old.
Yeah, I'm 50 right now.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that long. Like I said, it's been about a year and a half since I just slammed into that awakening. And I tell people that it was almost like I was like, it all hit me like I was drinking from a fire hose. That's how fast they came on. And it's just a flood ever since. So.
Oh my gosh. So it's probably been pretty shocking to you.
It is, but luckily I think with my background and just my natural personality of not fearing anything, or just, being too dumb to know any better, that it never really shocked me. It's just I'm kind of in that mode that I'm learning, more stuff is coming, and I want more to keep coming.
Oh, yeah.
Just keep throwing it at me, and I'll deal with it as it goes.
I love that. You've got like a childlike energy about it. Like you're so excited, and that's what I love about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, you and I actually had some conversations about Mandela effect and parallel universes and all sorts of fun antimatter and stuff. You were able to explain things that I know nothing about so eloquently. Okay.
Thank you.
And so I was hoping maybe we could get into some of that tonight.
Yeah.
Because there's so much stuff that comes up in my other shows, like my remote viewing show that I do. Right. I often get the interdimensional topic comes up quite often. Yeah. Now you have, before we really get into the interdimensional stuff, you actually have been in communication with elementals and interdimensional stuff. Yeah. Kind of tell me a little bit about that.
So the elemental stuff is pretty much what is around us. It's the earth elementals, fire, water, air elementals. They're not all are friendly. Just so we know right off the bat, not all elementals are friendly. They have a purpose why they're here, and this really ties to both my Nordic and to my Native American background. They both live in both worlds. But they're designed to protect the earth. That's what they're designed for. They're designed to help their nature by nature. They're nature by nature.
Nature spirits and stuff. Yes, kind of. Okay.
They're not always nice. If you're messing up the ground and everything else and stuff like that, that's when they become agitated. Or if you're messing with their water, if you're polluting the water or anything else, that's when because if you ever experience let's say an earth elemental, just so people know, I can actually see, hear, and talk to elementals just like I'm talking to you. They're not like something that's in my head and I hear their voices. I'm actually having a conversation with them, which is apparently different than what a lot of people do. So when I came across one, the first time I came across one, he threw rocks at me, by the way, and I had a handful of people with me, and they're like, "Did you just throw rocks?" I'm like, "No, he did." And they were like, "Okay."
Who's he? What?
I had to explain who the elemental was. But he was very angry because there was a person who was working in a basement. He just did a quick flip on a house, and they left the basement destroyed. And so when I went down there, the elemental was very angry. And so someone else already moved into there, and I had to help appease the elemental by letting him know the new owners was not that same person, and that the new owner actually brought flowers down and plants down and everything else to show that they were trying to make it better. So that was good. As far as the interdimensional stuff and everything else, so I can speak with people in other dimensions who have passed, if they're from another dimension, or if they've actually moved into another dimension, or if they're even from another dimension. The feeling is different because, like I said, I'm a medium. So all mediums are psychics, but not all psychics are mediums. Just so people
absolutely
great. A lot of people say psychic medium, and they think that it's all rolled into one. It's not. They're two different things. Excuse me. When I feel the presence here, it's in my head. that it makes the back of my hair, well, what hair I have left, but on the back of my neck and everything else kind of tingle, and it makes my head tingle, so I know it's there. When I'm speaking to anything or anyone from another dimension, it crosses my chest. It's actually in my shoulders. So that's how I know. And then if I'm around other mediums and they're talking to me, I will ask a medium, are you able to hear this? And every time so far they've said no, and the feeling's been across my chest, so I know it's been from another dimension. And that's how I figured out that that was another dimension talking to me, was because it was in my chest and no one else can hear it.
Wow. Okay, Tom, that is so interesting that your body actually picks up on it and you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
Because when something resonates with me and we're talking about some kind of topic, and if I'm not sure if what we're talking about is actually real or whatever, I get goosebumps on my legs.
Yeah.
Okay, when something is real or it resonates or something's true, or it's always the same. It's always on my legs, and that's how I know it's real. It's almost like my body is a dowsing rod,
Exactly,
in some kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and it's also interesting too. I was actually out in the field last night. For everybody who was watching my remote viewing show last night, that was a pre-record. Sorry. It was like, I think I did announce it at the very end, but Barry and I did a pre-record for that one. I was out in the woods doing some Bigfooting. Okay. And I stayed up really late last night. So it was a good time. But speaking of people hearing things and other people not hearing it, when you hear voices and you're communicating with elementals or any kind of spirit, there was a time where I was at that location where we were at last night, and I was walking past a creek in the area, and I heard very loudly, time travel, very loud in a woman's voice. Yeah. And there were two people with me, and they did not hear it. I thought it was one of them talking.
Right.
And it was not, and they didn't hear it at all, but I heard it. It was so loud. It was almost like she screamed it right in my face.
Oh.
So yeah, it's interesting how
must have been for tonight's show.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Yeah. But not everyone can pick up on that. Now, I don't claim to be a psychic medium. Okay. I have communicated with dead people before, several times, but I don't make that claim, but I don't even say I'm psychic, but I am,
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I do think that's really cool about your body picking up what's what.
Yeah, it does. And it does it. One of the people I used to investigate with, he was kind of our first notification that something was in the area. He would walk in, and if he'd call it chicken skin, get it, but it's the goosebumps. If he got him on his arm, something was in the area without any hesitation. If he walked in and he got the chicken skin, something was in the area, and the rest of us would tune in and identify what it was or whatever it is. So, but he was always our first indicator.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, and you have met a lot of people through going to psychic fairs or mystical fairs in your area, right? Because we've done the same here in my town as well. My mother and I have we used to go to the psychic fair up in North Atlanta, and we made a lot of friends through that. It's like our tribe,
Yeah. And it's so as you mentioned before, I have a show called Stuff I Never Learned from a Schoolbook, and it seems like in the paranormal world or the cryptid world, mine kind of covers it all: paranormal, cryptid, UFO, dimensional, all that wonderful stuff. It covers all of it in one big round way. I have on guests who talk about all of it, but it seems like we kind of have the same group that comes in the same circles a lot of times that we talk to. So I go to the Mystic Fest, I go to the Conjure Fest, I go to all the other fests that are around here, because when I walk through those areas, my body picks up vibes off of people. And I'm like, oh, that energy is really good. I want to go talk to that person. So I will go over to that person, introduce who I am, tell them what I do, and ask them if they can sit down with me and talk about possibly coming on my show. So I'm really trying to get the local talent in as well, who aren't well known, to give them a platform to talk to, so that way people get to know who they are. Because they don't get that opportunity a lot. And that's really what the community that I'm trying to build is about. It's about everybody coming together as one big community. They can talk to each other, they can ask questions to each other, they can do whatever, just to kind of get to know that they're not alone. And and you've been on the show, you've seen the show, and it's really, my show is really like one big family. It really is. They ask questions, they talk to each other, they help each other out, everything else. And I just wanted to grow more. And that's really what it's designed for. And that's why I go to those local fests, is to get those people involved as well.
Yeah. Your vibe is your tribe, Tom, you
Yes.
know? Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of where we are right now is, not looking at people. I mean, this is talking about, I mean, this is almost like a going from 3D to 5D conversation here. It's like, maybe in the past, uh, people have looked at like, what does someone have? What do they look like? What kind of car do they drive? Now, what I'm looking for in friends and people, I'm like, and not like I was ever like that, but I'm looking for that vibe. Who's on my vibe? Like, I
Right.
don't, it doesn't matter what you look like, where you come from. I don't care. I just want you to be on my vibe.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Well, let's go back and talk a little bit more about the interdimensionals.
Okay.
Okay. And what interdimensional means, because I swear it comes up all the time.
Yeah.
And the question is, well, what does that mean if a cryptid, if a Bigfoot is interdimensional?
Right.
What does that mean, Tom?
So according to superstring theory, so now I'm about to go physics here. Superstring theory, there's 10 dimensions. There's 11 dimensions possible. The last one is kind of a catch-all right now that they're trying to figure out. But the 10 dimensions, there's 9 dimensions that are all space dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 10th one is a dimension of time. So interdimensions, a lot of people assume that dimensional and parallels are exactly the same. They're not.
Okay.
First of all, you have to think of dimensions as spatial, as space. That's how you travel from one place to another, is through the dimensional wormholes, the vortexes, whatever else. Whereas if you're looking at parallel universes, they are literally other universes inside of the multiverse that parallel your universe. So think of it as the interdimensional highway is how you travel between the universes, and the universes are their own separate entities. So when you're talking about interdimensional travel for the Bigfoot, maybe he is traveling through that interdimensional path to go to his universe where Bigfoot is prevalent all the time and humans are rare, as to, if they can find their way there. Whereas, we see them on this side as so rare and so hard to find and everything else. So they're traveling through an interdimensional path to another parallel universe.
Does it look kind of like this, like a wormhole kind of thing?
Pretty much like that. That's how a lot of people have drawn it up. So that's how you can get from basically one universe to another. The planets are representing universes right here. So you can actually go through this interdimensional area, a vortex, a wormhole, whatever you want to call it, and get to one parallel universe to another, which is what that was good depiction of right there.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I don't know the difference. I didn't, honestly. I just know wormholes. Okay. And wormhole comes up a lot in my remote viewing data when I'm looking at cryptids.
Right.
And any kind of how they're traveling and they're coming here. I'm picking up on wormholes and interdimensional type travel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's interesting. And I'm assuming like spacecraft and aliens, all that stuff.
Yeah. So a lot of people, when you see, so let's just even talk about movies for a second. When you see stuff like Star Wars, or you see Star Trek, or any of the whatever star world you're in, you see them hit warp speed and they go from one location to another. That's a travel. That's a form of travel. If they're doing it at such light speeds that they're able to jump from one location to another, that's a form of dimensional travel. If they're going to do interdimensional travel, they're basically jumping from universe to universe. So there's a breakdown of how large the travel is, of travel, dimensional travel, interdimensional travel. So that's about that's about
awesome.
how that goes.
Yeah, well, that's very interesting. Okay, so what about the Mandela? Let's go to the Mandela effect for a second. Okay, because I was so stuck. I've been stuck on that Chick-fil-A thing. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. You're actually about that. How Chick-fil-A seemed to
it changed its name out of the blue.
Its names.
I'm not letting this one go, y'all. I swear to God.
Right. I was that same mindset that the K was not there initially. It was just
it was CHI. Actually, it was CHIK in my book, but
for me it was too. It was CHIK.
Yeah.
There was no C, and I swear that's what it was when my son worked there when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
I swore it was, and now all of a sudden we have the CK, and I think this is when we're crossing paths in parallel universes. I think this is and my some people look at it differently, or they have a different description of it. For me, it really is to where they're not parallel. They actually they're more like where they will cross at certain points. So they'll go. So basically, we start and they went out, and then when they come back, they will cross. Well, when they start to cross is where we have that Mandela effect, basically, where two things can exist at the same time because they're on two different planes, but they're meeting at the same time. And this is a lot of times where you have a lot of people have identified. They said, "Hey, if the moon should be coming up from this side,"
Yes.
and they're like, "But it's not."
I get that all the time. I see that all the time.
All of a sudden, it's corrected to where it should be. Well, a lot of that has to do with the Mandela effect. Where is it crossing at when it's rotating compared to where we're rotating? Is it crossing a steady parallel that it's glitching in, and then it corrects itself once it gets through that window?
Oh my gosh, that my mind is a little blown tonight. Okay, that's wild. That's wild. I do notice that pretty often. Like every night, it seems like the moon should be around the same area,
Right.
at the same time it was that night before, but it's not at all. It's like, and whenever I bring it up and I ask them, I'm like, isn't the moon supposed to be over here?
Right.
I get made fun of, and people are like, "Oh, it's just the moon. Where do you think the moon's supposed to be?"
We just had that last night, a couple nights ago, because we were looking out and the moon was right next to Jupiter. It was, when it came up, it was directly right next to Jupiter. You can see Jupiter in the sky right next to it. It was on to the right if you're looking from my house. Last night, instead of being in my side yard, it was coming up over the front of my house. But when it ended up finishing, it finished off to the side of my house and then following the path it did the night before. So it's almost like I had to make an adjustment to correct itself to be where it should be. It's almost like it did catch that little wormhole effect or that parallel universe effect, and it switched over and had to fix it.
Wow.
So yeah. And so that happens a lot. A lot of people call it a glitch in the matrix, just what they did from the Matrix. A lot of people use that play on words. But for me, it's a lot of when we come back together on that path, and when it comes back together in the crossing, there's two different parallels that are exactly at the same time. So sometimes we run into each other. We don't run into each other, but some people will say, "Hey, Jessica, I swear I saw you last night at so-and-so." And you're like, "I was in bed." I'm like, "No, I saw you." And you're like, "No, I was in bed." Well, that was the crossover. And that was you going to another, passing through yourself at that parallel universe time.
Oh my God. So doppelgangers could just actually be us.
Doppelgangers can be you. Yes.
Oh my gosh, Tom, this is making my brain hurt tonight. This is awesome. This is so cool.
And there are times when you can cross over, when they can cross over, and you're in a different time of that parallel pass. So
yeah,
when you see the pictures, let's say you see the pictures of someone in the 50s holding a cell phone.
Yes.
And someone takes that picture and goes, "Is this real or is this made up?" And they look at it and they go, "Well, look, I ran the film and it's a legit film. It's not something that someone put in." So yeah, see, Casey, I'm not crazy. Well, I might be crazy, but not for that reason. But
a little bit crazy.
You look like this, you got to be. But there's that time lapse as well that can happen when you cross over. So you could pass yourself from another time, or you can be from another time at that location. So you're almost having a time effect on yourself as well. So someone can say, "I saw exactly what you're going to look like in 20 years. I saw your doppelganger 20 years from now."
Mm-hmm.
It very well could have been. It very well could have been you 20 years from now, just in that quick blip that we passed each other.
Just the quick. It's just the time. It's time slips or something. Would that be a time slip?
It's kind of, I don't want to call it a time slip. It's a time passage. It's literally when two pieces of time are passing each other at the exact same time. So It's almost like a time passage, and it's very quick. It's very immediate.
Oh my gosh!
And that's why it's not recognized as much as a lot of people think as we feel it should be. If that's actually what's happening, it's because it happens so fast. That one person that saw you 20 years in the future is because they saw you in that 1 minute that you were there. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, what about deja vu? Okay, I know these are. I'm throwing all these questions. What about deja vu, Tom? Is that similar to you think?
I think deja vu comes from our past lives.
Okay.
I think it's something that happened before, and then we have already lived it once, and now we're reliving it again. And we're like, man, this thing's really familiar. Like when you go to somewhere, you're like, I have been here before, but you can't identify where it was. I think that was from a past life where you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And you just had that moment of clarity of, I've seen this before. And there's a lot of times you think it's, so here's the problem that I have with this is the problem that I run into. I will have something happen, and then it seems like it repeats. And it seems like it's only been like 2 years ago when it happened. Like, I'm like, didn't I just do this? Didn't we have the same conversation 2 years ago? Didn't we just go through this a couple years ago? I swear we had the same conversation. And the other person will tell me I'm nuts, which, again, I could be. That's all right. But I honestly think it's a memory that happened for us, and we just recognize it as during this lifetime, not a past lifetime. So we just create a time for when it happened. Oh, we had this conversation 2 years ago, when actually it happened in the past somewhere else. That's why we're remembering it.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, considering that you just were really awakened to your psychic abilities this past year, okay, you and I had a conversation the other day that was just really interesting, okay, and it's something that I kind of heard of it, but I don't know a whole lot about it.
Okay.
And you said that you were told perhaps that you could have become a drop-in. Okay.
Yeah.
Explain to me and the audience what a drop-in is and kind of how that affected you and what this is.
Sure.
Okay.
So a drop-in, there's also a name for it, but I only know it as a drop-in because I was actually at Mystic Fest, as we talked about, and I was talking to two ladies who are outstanding, and they are very good at psychic and mediumship and everything else. They've been doing it for years, and they're well-known, but I was talking to both of them, and they were talking about my abilities and when they came up and everything else. And then they asked what I used to do for a living. And I told them I did very, very bad things to very, very bad people. But my PTSD was very, very, very overwhelming for a while. And they said, oh, you're a drop-in, about how I got my abilities at the age of 49 and how things are going now. And I did not know what a drop-in was. I'm like, what is a drop-in? And she said, basically what happened is something in your past was so traumatic that if you kept going on that path, you were not going to be alive now. So what happened is your soul left and another soul dropped in to replace that soul to give you what you have now, to make you who you are now. So it's basically a sacrifice of one soul to let me live now with another soul. And so it was called a drop-in. And when it happened, you don't recognize it. You don't know what happened. It doesn't always happen because, like I said, mine was because I was going down the wrong path, and they feel like I wouldn't be alive because I probably would have been self-destructive. But drop-ins happen for numerous reasons. Sometimes they drop in, for instance, for me to help save me. Some people, the drop-ins happen because they're looking for something and they just can't find what is trying to fulfill their life. There's just something that they're trying to work with. And sometimes, I don't know if you want to call it the creator, you want to call it God, you want to call it your spirit guides, whatever else. I don't know who the contract is with that allows one spirit to leave and the other one to drop in. Yeah. But that apparently is what happened to me. And it happened and it was very funny listening to two ladies because they're having a conversation with me like we are. All of a sudden they turn away and they're having a conversation with themselves about me like I'm not even there. And they're discussing this drop-in and how they think it happened and everything else. Well, they actually think that the drop-in happened quite a while ago, probably a few years ago. But my adjustment with my new soul and my awakening and everything else took a while to adjust to the new soul. So that's why I didn't awaken until a few years later.
Wow. Oh my gosh. To me, it sounds like you would have a soul replacement if that's what it is,
Right.
if you were passing away, if you were actually at a point where you were about to die, and
Yeah.
maybe they just put another soul
And I don't
in
know
your body.
why I got it. I'm
Yeah.
apparently it was a good thing. I'm very happy because I'm glad of where it's taken me now. So it's very
Yeah.
interesting to learn everything I am now and to be able to interact with these types of people. And I am I have always been very laid back, very everything else. So that part didn't change, luckily. But but my PTSD side was very dangerous. I don't
Hmm.
drink at all. I even at a younger age when I first joined the military and just knowing how I was, I decided that I would never drink because I never knew what kind of a drunk I would be. I could be a very violent drunk, and if I am violent and out of control, I don't know what I would do to others. So
Yeah.
I made a conscious choice never to drink, and it doesn't bother me at all. I
Yeah.
don't know what I don't know. Um, but so I think the drop in was good for me because it's kind of taken me back to where my PTSD is almost none. It's
Hmm.
very, very, very mild, if any. Fourth of July gets me a lot, but because of the fireworks and everything. But
Yeah.
it's really calmed me down a lot too. So
Wow. Yeah, the 4th of July is tough for a lot of veterans.
yes,
Yeah, I understand that.
yep. I end up
But
I end up in the basement a lot,
oh,
trying to get away from the noises. So
oh, I hate that. I'm so sorry.
yeah,
A lot of people don't think that. Don't think about that when they're out there blowing.
yeah,
It sounds like the Civil War going on outside my house during the 4th of July out here,
right,
because I live on a lake and it just booms.
yeah,
Okay, so it's terrible. So yeah, well, I feel like you just have a very special mission here, Tom,
yeah.
and
Thank you.
that's my opinion, and I feel that you have a very special mission. You needed to accomplish this mission, and you
Yeah,
know and
yeah.
maybe that's part of what it is. And it's amazing. You have so much knowledge within you, that's very important.
I'm learning that.
Yeah.
So I will tell you, if we have time, I will tell you that I had a shaman lady tell me that with my indigenous background, she said that she saw when she was kind of meditating, she saw to where it was a group of chiefs that were sitting around in a circle around a fire, and then one chief would walk up to each chief and say, "Tell me what your best quality is about your best warrior." And when the chief would say that, he would take that and he would put it into a bowl, and he did that for each chief. So every chief told what the best warrior's quality was. And she said, and what happened is that chief took you and dumped all those qualities into you, so into me. And she says, so
Wow.
you are destined for something because they have decided that you are the best qualities of all the chieftains, best warriors. So
The council has spoken.
yeah, and I think that ties to my I mean, I'm very protective of everybody. Thank you, Digger. I appreciate that. I appreciate your support. But I am always a protector. My military
Mhm.
background was a protector. I'm always one that says, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a female, even if I don't know who you are and someone puts a hand on you, they just made the wrong mistake.
Yeah.
Females are not to be hit, period. End of discussion. No reason why. I don't care who argues with me on here. You can argue till you're blue in the face. I'm 50 years old and I believed it my whole 50 years. I have 8 older sisters. That's who protected me when I was younger, was my sister. So,
Wow,
that's
8
cool.
sisters.
Yes, I'm the youngest of 13.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh.
yeah. So, but I have 8 older sisters, and as far as I'm concerned, women are hands off when it comes to
Yeah.
violence. Nope.
We need more chivalry like that. That's what, we need more of that,
Yeah.
Tom. Okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah, please speak out on that more. We need that.
I do. I do.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I feel like society is shifting in so many ways right now, and we're living in such a crazy time. It's important to get the word out like that,
Yeah.
and to be a role model for young men,
Yeah.
and for just everybody.
Yeah. I'm actually a business mentor because for my wife is a high school teacher.
Yeah.
She teaches high school math, so God bless her. But I am a business mentor for her. And while I'm at the school and I'm a business mentor, I'm also passing on these little bits of personal information too, for not only the men, but for the women too, because like I said, I have a lot of older sisters, so I try to help them.
Yeah.
So thank you, Julie. I appreciate that. But I try to help them as well. The women understand that, hey, I know that you're 15, I know that you're 16, but maybe that's not what you should be doing, type of thing too. I mean, I'm not their parents, but I do have some insight as to what I've seen,
Yeah.
and my beliefs on how it should be. I will never force them on it. I will just make suggestions. I will never talk about how they dress because that's none of my business. But when all they do is cuss to try to get their attention, that's not how you get attention.
Yeah.
When the guys are just stupid and they're loud in the classroom and they're interruptive, I tell them, look, I don't have to be here. I'm here voluntarily, and if you don't want me here, I can leave.
Yeah.
And at that point, they're kind of like, no, we kind of like you here. So
Those kids know your background. They know you're military.
they do. They
You're
do.
a sniper. My
do
goodness.
because of my wife.
Yeah.
She tells them, she's like, my husband's coming in. Here's his background. He's gonna, if you want, he'll tell you some stories, but he's really here to be a business mentor. So we'll tell stories in between time and everything else and stuff like that. But yeah, they've really learned what the word respect means. And that's a big part.
That's why I have my son in jujitsu, because their big thing is respect.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's how they end their class every day. Respect.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, is there anything that you could teach those kids? If you could teach them anything that they're not going to learn in a school book, okay, what would you teach them?
They have to understand that the only belief they need to know is their own, in themselves, regardless of what anybody else says at all. Everyone else that says something simply has an opinion. Mm-hmm. The only fact is going to come from you yourself, because you're the only one that can control your own self. So, and that's what's hard for me to understand is because a lot of people are so hung up on being part of the group or being accepted. Everyone will be accepted. You just have to find that group that you're accepted by for who you are. And there's so many people that are told they can't do this or they can't do that or whatever else, that they just need to understand that if you believe in yourself, everything else will fall into place. That's all that matters. Right.
Yeah. And, and I find myself in, I'm going to say my older years. I'm not super old, but, the latter part of my life is unlearning what I was taught in school. And, with all this paranormal stuff, right. Even when it pertains to like the paranormal and the supernatural and my psychic abilities and all that kind of stuff, I wasn't taught this in school, okay, at all. And we actually were taught the opposite.
And that's where the title came from, because this is stuff this is the stuff that you and I talk about that is not taught in school. And that's why the title Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book came about, because this is not stuff you talk about when you're from kindergarten to wherever you end up graduating at. It doesn't matter, or wherever you finish school at. You just need to, it's just a part of life that you end up finding out outside of school.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's a ton of stuff that my son's learning right now that he's never going to learn in school. And a matter of fact, I got to say, with this remote viewing stuff I do, I'm finding that a lot of our history is not what we're taught, Tom.
It isn't.
It's really not.
Right.
So what do we do about that with our kids?
Well,
what do you think?
First off, the big thing is you need to know if it's going to affect them. Is it affecting them now? Mm-hmm. And how is it going to affect their decision making in the future? And if it doesn't affect anything, then it doesn't affect anything. Stuff about Paul Revere's rides, stuff about the Tea Party, stuff about a lot of stuff that doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just simply history. the places to pay attention are the stuff that could possibly hurt or damage how they're paying attention to things. Are they paying attention to the fact that right now, I'm sorry, I'm going to bring this up really quick, and sorry, audience, but I'm not going to say one way or the other, but politics has such a big role in everything right now, and the people have been left out. And to me, that's going to play a big role into what we are going to be calling history in the future, how everything is working out now based off politics and not for the people. That's going to have an adjustment. So that's kind of where the kids need to learn. If the history is going to affect them in the future, make sure it's affecting it for the good, or teach them the correct way, or teach them what it was, not what was written.
Yeah, that's great advice, actually. Absolutely. And I'm teaching my kid about Bigfoot. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, my son, like I said, this has been a year and a half. My son's 21 now, and he is wide open to learning what I'm learning. He's like, oh, you have that ability. I wonder if I have any of that. So he's all of a sudden become interested, even though I've only been doing it for a short time. But he's very interested in what's going on in my world, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that.
That's awesome. Well, you can be proud of that, and I'm proud of my son for wanting to be interested in things that I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the best gift we can have, is having our kids be interested and wanting to follow in our footsteps, And so, I mean, I love it. You have a lot of psychic friends that come on your show, and people that you consider mentors. Now, speaking of, mentors, I think it's very important that we all have mentors.
Yes.
But I just did a video the other day, like I do a little oracle card readings and stuff, and I was talking about how a lot of people want to lead us, but not everybody's a leader, and so we shouldn't be following everybody. And oh, I know, but we should all have a mentor, and I think someone like you is a great mentor. And
thank you.
In every aspect of our lives, even any kind of thing that we're interested in, any kind of hobby. I like to look to people who know a little bit more about these things than I do, especially on my shows that I do. I'm like, I don't know the first thing about some of those remote viewing targets I'm doing, so I'm going to bring experts on, and that's okay.
Yeah,
we need that. We need that.
Yeah, and that's why I bring on the people onto my show, because it's not only people who are on my show that are just figuring it out, but I bring in a lot of experts about stuff. Like I had on a lady that was local here, named Kim Covert, and she does quantum past life regression. I have no clue until I talked to her about what all that was, but I brought her on because I was curious and it was interesting. So it was very cool to be able to bring, like you do, to talk to experts in the field. When you and I had our discussion, I learned tons of stuff about Bigfoot and all this other information, even just about your team. Even though you're very cryptic about your team, I still learned a lot about your team, and what you guys do and everything else compared to what you see on TV, and that's the bad thing, because TV really glamorizes everything and doesn't show you putting in all the work. And
oh man, it's so dirty out there, and hot and cold, and it could be boring. And
it's nice to have you on, because you were an expert in that field that I've never heard of before, that I've never had on before, and my crowd hadn't heard of you. So now
I'm not an expert.
They follow you, but it's something you do for a living that you love, that you can speak to. Where I would be like, furrier than me, bigger than me, and has like 4 different names. All right, we're good. So
yeah, I'm not an expert, first of all, in any of this stuff. I just have a lot of fun doing these things. So, and I've been doing it for a while. So yeah, I don't know. I love meeting new people, learning new things. I learned from you all about interdimensionality. Is that how you say it?
We'll go with that one.
Yeah. And so that's why I really wanted to talk to you about that tonight, because I just have been, it's so cloudy. And Barry Littleton and I have been having these conversations with a lot of these remote viewing targets about what does interdimensional even mean? And so you just are able to explain things in such a way that it's very easy to understand. So
a lot of times, and I'll tell you why I do that. I have been an instructor now for about 20 years in the military. And I have learned that I have to take it down to the lowest common denominator of who I need to speak to. And 99% of the time, the stuff that I'm telling people, I am dumbing it down so I can understand it. It's because I'm the lowest common denominator when I'm explaining things. If I can speak to it in a way that I know I can understand it, then I know others will understand it too. So when I talk about interdimensions as a way of travel compared to parallel universes being different locations, interdimensional travel gets us to those locations. That's as simple as I can make it so I can understand it. So,
Yeah. Well, Tom, do you astral travel? I mean, even when you sleep at night?
I do. I did not know this until I was told what I was doing. I explained to someone what I was doing, and they're like, "Do you know that you're actually doing self-hypnosis so you can astral travel?" And I went, "No, I did not know that's what I was doing. I knew that I could astral travel, but how I go about doing it, I did not know that I was doing a self-hypnosis." And they're like, "You're self-hypnotizing so you can astral travel." And that was new to me. But yes, I astral travel. Though it's very weird. I astral travel right before I go to sleep. I ask to go somewhere where I've never been before. And when I close my eyes, I'm almost looking into my third eye when I do it. But I can only astral travel and remote view because I can actually do both. I haven't perfected remote viewing yet, but I'm getting closer to where I can actually see where I'm at. Because right now I see like, okay, I'm in a forest. Now pull back so I can tell what forest it is. Okay, I see a cabin. Where am I? I can't do that part yet, but I can see where I'm at. But for the astral travel and actually travel to other universes, other whatever, other solar systems, I can control that. I can change where I want to go if I want to. But it only happens when I lay down to go to sleep at night. If I wake up for any reason and go back to sleep in the morning again, I lose that. I can only astral travel at night. When I fall asleep or when I wake up and I try to fall asleep in the morning, like if it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I just got to go back to sleep, it changes to colors and all the colors swirl. But it's the colors that are apparently associated with who my angels are that are protecting me. And that's what I'm being told, is that my angels are helping me go back to sleep. Because it's always like a white or a gold or a blue or a green or a red. And they're all the different angels, angel colors. And they're the ones who are helping me go back to sleep my second time. And they're just letting me know that they're looking out for me.
Wow. So you're in communication with your angels and your spirit guides. And how does that help you? I mean, you use them as your guides? And did you just pick up on this in the past year? This is amazing.
I don't, in all reality, in all claim here, I don't know how I do it. It just happens. Everyone says all you got to do is call out to your spirit guides and they will come to you and they will help you. I don't really know who my spirit guides are, but I know I have 3 of them. Yeah. And they seem to, apparently they just decide that he's too dumb to know to ask. So we're just going to help him out anyways.
Wait, I think I got the same thing going because I'm not sure my spirit guides' names. And people ask me, who are your spirit guides? I'm like, I don't know, but I know they're here.
Right.
And they help me anyways. You know, I've not asked for their names, I guess.
Yeah, I do know that one of mine is one of mine, his name is Hiro, Hiro, and he's actually from another planet. He's one of the star seeds. So cool. He's actually from a star seed. He's actually from the same as mine. He's actually from Arcturia. He's Arcturian like I am. So so he has that. So I do know him, but I don't know anything about how to get to him or anything else.
Yeah. Interesting. Tom, Holly has a question.
I see that.
Do you have any input on sleep paralysis?
Sleep paralysis. Is there anything going on at the time when your sleep paralysis happens? Is it during your dream? Are you picturing someone? What is causing your sleep paralysis? Or I know that's what you're asking, but is there anything that's going on at the time when your sleep paralysis happens? Is it always the same time? Is it always when you're doing the same thing? A lot of times sleep paralysis will happen when you are doing a remote view or an astral travel, mostly when you're doing an astral travel because you leave your body. So a lot of times that's when sleep paralysis will happen. You recognize the sleep paralysis because you're kind of in that dream realm, and you're just realizing you've left your body, so you're recognizing your sleep paralysis before you go actually do your travel. When you come back, you can actually come back wrong in astral travel.
You come back all wonky. Can't get back in that body, huh?
You can get in there, but that's when you feel yourself shake and you like bounce yourself awake. You're like, whoa. You know, almost like you're falling when you have that little bounce and you wake up.
Yeah.
That's you coming back into your body after an astral travel.
I've had that before. It's like,
right.
You wake up like,
and so many people don't know that they just astral travel.
Yeah.
They don't recognize it or they don't remember it. But a lot of times your sleep paralysis is tied to an astral travel. If it's not tied to an astral travel, it may be when you're dreaming, there is something in your dream that is scaring you. It is frightening you. It is literally stopping you from wanting to move. But when you wake up, your mind is suppressing what it was because it's so fearful, or it's something that was in your past that was terrifying to you, that it puts you into a sleep paralysis. But when you wake up, again, it has closed it out. It's a subconscious that is not letting it out to let you know what it is, but you do recognize that it's sleep paralysis. So I know there's a couple different ways for that.
Holly said that she awoke and she couldn't move and was terrified. Okay, just terrified. Yeah. Now, Werewolf 5674. Hey, Werewolf. How do you know you're not going to astral travel to somewhere bad? I mean, do we have a choice of where we astral travel?
We do have a choice. If you give yourself an intent of a location or something you want to see, like I always say I want to astral travel somewhere where I've never been that is beautiful. And the last place I astral traveled to that I focused on, I actually flew over it was a totally different system than what we're in now. And it was a planet that was made up of all diamonds. And it was like, I'm literally flying through like the mountains that are all diamonds. So it's just shiny like that the whole way.
Crystalline or crystalline. Is that how they say it? Yeah.
And when I was flying through it, I was just flying through the passageways of them. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Susie has a question. Have you ever seen a horizontal separation in the room by a silver line? Top half old, broken and gray. Bottom half is in real time normal. That's interesting. Never heard of that.
That I haven't seen it, but I know what it is.
A glitch in the matrix?
It's a. I'm trying to see the best way to use the words for this. It is a broken memory. It's something that you have experienced before, but you're missing part of it. And that's why it's split. And that's why one part is broken and gray, because you're missing that part. And the other half is what you remember.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So it's a split memory or a lost memory.
Wow.
So, or a shattered memory, as some people call it. But yes.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, thank you for that answer, Tom. That's amazing. Yeah. That's really interesting. Now, astral travel can be very dangerous. A friend, this is one gambly boy.
Yeah.
His friend nearly had his body hijacked. Now, can that happen to you?
That can. So you are connected during astral travel by what we call a silver line or a silver string. You're attached to it, so you will always return back to your body. But while you are out, it does give an opportunity for something else to jump in. Very, 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 very rare. I mean, very, very, very rare for that to happen. It can happen, but a lot of times what will happen is when your subconscious recognizes something else is coming, you will jump back in. And a lot of times that's when that's not always the jolt, but that it slams into you. You come back fast enough that it jolts you because it understands it's being threatened. But so it can happen. But normally your body reacts to it. Your subconscious and your travel soul reacts to it enough on that silver line that it pulls you right back in. It's
Oh,
almost,
wow.
almost like a yo-yo effect. So
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's really scary. I mean, I've been worried about, I worry about that sometimes, you know, I'm hard to wake up sometimes, and it makes me worried. Like,
but that's not something that's not kind of it's not kind of like when you wake up. It's something that is all subconscious. It's not anything that you are. It's not anything that you have to worry about when you're asleep.
yeah.
Because you can be asleep and not astral travel. So
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Wink at me. Yes, I do tarot and oracle card readings. If anybody wants one, you can get one on my website. Go sign up.
yeah,
And one last question: can you dream walk yet? Do you know what dream walking is?
I cannot dream walk, William.
Okay, that's William. That's William Nighthawk. That's my friend.
Yeah,
Good friend.
Dream walk yet,
Yes.
William. You have not passed on that form of information to me yet.
Now, do you know William? You probably know William, actually.
I know William.
Okay,
William is actually one that I lean on from my Indigenous side to learn stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we have a mutual friend.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful.
Yeah,
I'm sure we have plenty.
William was on my show plenty of times, as far as coming in and talking and everything else. So yeah.
He said, "Does it make all the hair on your chin stand on end, Tom?" I
No,
love that.
doesn't.
Oh my gosh. Tom, this has been so much fun. Thank you for being here tonight. Everybody in chat, thank y'all so much. Y'all are awesome. So Tom, where can everybody find you?
I'm on Facebook. It's facebook.com/stuff I never learned from a school book. I am on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/stuff I never learned. And if you go to YouTube, it's this really long, ugly number and letter, or words. But if you just type that in right there on YouTube, stuff I never learned, I'm the only one that pops up. So I'm the only one who has that name. And you'll see me on YouTube too. And those are the three places I'm at. My Instagram is also out there, and it's tied to my Facebook. So if you see my Facebook, you'll attach to my Instagram as well.
Yeah, and I've got links and stuff on my social media tonight, and I'll be sure to share that out tonight and tomorrow, Tom. Oh my gosh, this has been amazing, Tom. Thank you so much for being here. It's always a blast talking to you, and I hope you'll come back.
I will.
There's so much more we can talk about. There's so much more.
Yeah,
it's endless. Okay, so everybody go subscribe to Tom's YouTube channel and check him out. And Tom, I'll see you next time. Okay.
Yeah, you will.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks,
okay. All right. See ya. All right, y'all. That was awesome. Okay, don't forget, right after this show, go join the After Hours crew. They're going to take you on a crazy, mysterious journey for the next 3 hours. Next time on Off the Trails, my guest is Matt Williamson of Supernatural Spectrum. We're going to be talking about his newest film, Bigfoot, Flesh, or Phenomena. And I can't wait to see y'all there. But for now, I'm the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones. I'm headed off the trails. I will see you guys tomorrow night. I hope y'all have a great night. After Hours is next. Bye, y'all.